going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Two Wizards, One Table.
I'm Craig.
I'm Mike. And today we're doing another unboxing video. I got another Kickstarter in, which I was super excited. He actually got his before I did, but I got the full shebang.
Mine's not complete.
Yeah, mine is.
CTHULHU.
We got ourselves the Infinite Black Elder Dice Kickstarter. This is their technical third Kickstarter. There was two prior. The first one was just the first three. The second one was an expansion.
Third dice Kickstarter.
Yeah, third dice Kickstarter. Let's go ahead.
Wait.
Huh.
Didn't this just come from China?
It did come from China. We need to prepare ourselves just a little bit. So
You never know what else might come across with this. So.
Yeah, bad juju from everywhere. So we got to put on our safety masks to prevent from any pandemics being spread.
Any infections.
Yeah, none of that good stuff. So, all right, now we're prepared to start cutting.
This is fogging up my glasses. No joke.
That's fogged up. Yeah, it's slide that forward. It is a box of goodies. So we got a packing list, which, like I was saying, this is big. Yeah, I got.
Let me see that.
Yeah, there you go. So, actually what I'll do is I'll actually pull this off to the side. So, we actually got the mark of the Necronomicon. Ooh, light. I don't mind removing... I know it hurts, and I'm super gentle with the blade itself.
Alright, what's new in this Kickstarter is these slipcases.
Yes.
Alright, this has to go because it's muffling my voice.
Which is
with their first Kickstarter, they started releasing these in these awesome spell books.
Mm-hmm.
With this current Kickstarter, well, not current, it's currently shipping, they introduced the slipcase to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the outer case is actually new. One thing that I did realize from the previous Kickstarters as well is they would come in these...
Factory sealed.
The factory seal, right? But then they also come with the Ziploc baggies. Also, what was incorporated with the second Kickstarter was actually these cards. Some lore cards is what they were. Giving a little bit about the lore of each set. That way you got a little history lesson.
It's kind of the origin of the symbols on the set. And
Actually, let's go ahead and take these off. It gets warm. We are gambling with our lives here just for you.
You want to leave the dice out? You want to open the dice?
Let's actually open the dice, is because at least I have a bag to put them back in. So we can actually get a solid look. I'm just actually going to start making a package.
Let me show off this spell book for a second.
Mm-hmm.
The front covers are totally cool, and the spine looks like the spine of a book. The back even has hinges printed on it.
It's made to look like a tome. And
It looks like the ragged, aged pages on the top and the bottom. I love these boxes.
Yeah.
I really do.
the packaging is what really sold it to myself, and I'm sure it sold it to many others. But it is just a beautiful, beautiful set. And of course, I also just want to point out real quick too, is like, I've actually had an issue with a prior Kickstarter where one of my mats was messed up. They didn't even bat an eyelash. Their customer service is so on point, so quick. So a serious nod and tip of the hat to the guys at Infinite Black. One thing that I absolutely love about all of these dice is they actually incorporate their emblem to each of the die.
Not just on the D20 like a lot of sets do, but it's on each and every die, even on the D4.
Yeah, D20, D4, D everything. Like, all of them will have the distinguishing marker, which huge fan of that. It just
I just noticed.
Beautiful.
I'd never noticed that before. They even changed the alignment for the D10 because it has the vertical alignment of the numbers on the percentile die because of the horizontal alignment of the numbers.
right.
The logo is presented horizontally too. That's interesting.
Yeah,
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, they took really good care of these, and I'm nothing but ecstatic whenever I receive these from the Kickstarters. Like,
And this is a nice combo of colors too. What is this, red and blue?
right.
And you can see there's a mix. Like this is very, very red with just a little blue spot, but then you have some very blue dice.
You're gonna have that nice heavy marble.
I quite like the way this one looks.
Yeah, the heavy blue, the dark
heavy
blue
with a little red.
And some of these from the third Kickstarter actually are recoloring, rebranding, well, not rebranding, but recoloring of a prior set of dice. So this is where it kind of comes critical for collectors. This was actually a recoloring of the Necronomicon
From the
second
collection.
Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So this one was pretty much set from the original, or not the original, but the second Kickstarter, which was the expansion from the first one. So this one was a recoloring of
Unspeakable Tomes. I think that's what they called
Yes.
the second Kickstarter.
It was Unspeakable Tomes, which this one was still red, but it's actually
red and
black. And also, like I was saying, is they do have the Journey of the Tree to Sorrows, but another card in there as well. They take very good care of these. Like I was saying, is all like the baggies, because if you do want to play with them, but you still want to keep them kind of safe, I do recommend doing that. I don't like my stuff just free rolling around like
Yeah.
crazy man.
Oh.
You might want to pause, grab a cup of coffee, is because this is going to get very deep very quickly. We've only gone through one. We got a long way to go. So then we also have the Elder Dice, which is, like I said, this Kickstarter is the third one. This is a recoloring.
It features the Elder Sign. It's a recoloring from which? The first Kickstarter, I believe?
Yeah. No. Yes, it is. It is the first Kickstarter.
Okay. And the Elder Sign is an original H.P. Lovecraft symbol. Many of the symbols and the iconography that they use in this set, the guys at Infinite Black created themselves, but some of it is traditional Lovecraftian. The Elder Sign, this
True
is
to the lore.
True to the lore. This is as Lovecraft had drawn it in a letter. I believe it was to Clark Ashton Smith. It could have been Lynn Carter, Robert E. Howard, any number of, I'm not 100% on that, but it was in a letter. And it's become part of the lore. This is the original Elder Sign.
Straight up iconic. And I do love the coloring of this one. It's a good, nice, stark contrast between the gold and blues.
It's a nice marbleized blue. It's very legible. And I'm noticing with this set that the D8 and the D12, the numbers take up almost the entirety of the face.
Yeah, it's super
they're
nice.
nice and big numbers, very legible.
Yeah. So you could actually read this across the table if you do roll them, which is very nice.
Yeah, even on the D4, the numbers are nice and thick and bold.
And I wanted to point out, too, this one was from the first Kickstarter, which these are green and gold. You'll have that nice stark contrast, is because they wanted to go with the green and gold when they originally did it, is because that's actually fairly true to the colorization of the original Elder Sign. To the untrained eye,
Yeah, the font's different size.
font, no, the colorization for the first blocking of the letter, that might also be a printing issue, but the color is just a touch different. It almost looks like a different graining of the card. So they are slightly different, but you won't technically see it or be able to compare unless it's physically in your hands.
Right, the wording is the same, the overall look is the same. There's just minor differences.
Yeah. These ones are a straight recolor. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that blue.
I kind of dig it. It's more associated to YOG-SOTHOTH is what they were doing for these.
The Dreamlands.
Yeah. The Dreamlands, yeah.
I guess when you take that into account, it's more of a ethereal, almost dreamy color, even with the light purple.
Is because the original ones were purple with a mauve kind of a coloring to them, so there is a stark contrast between the second and third ones. But they, still have the nice emblem that goes on it, which was a redesigning of
Sigil of the
the Sigil of the Dreamlands, correct?
And I like that sigil. It's nice. They did a good job on this one.
Mm-hmm. Like, I've been very impressed with their reimagining of all the sigils or icons.
Their interpretations and reimaginings, yes.
Has been very flawless. I've never really had much of an issue. The only one I really had an issue with was the yellow sign, but I understand why. Is because the yellow sign has a tri-point with squiggle marks, kind of a thing. But at the same time, as the new sigil will also have the...
We'll get to that. Right?
We'll get to it. I get ahead of myself because I find this stuff very, very fascinating.
I love the symbology. Always been fascinated by symbols.
Every time I hear the word symbology, all I can think is Boondock Saints. I believe the word you're looking for is symbolism. So this one...
Brand of Cthulhu.
Yes, the branding of Cthulhu. This is also another recoloring. It's mostly because it was a weird kind of complaint, because it was like, Cthulhu, green. Pretty standard, but of course they also had the Elder Sign in green, so making two green sets.
What color was the initial Cthulhu set?
It was red. The initial one was red, which I was just all like, why?
Yeah,
I was all like,
it should be green.
Correct. It was like, that's kind of a standard, and that was my only
you could always have variants, but no, you start with green.
Yeah. But I think that's one reason why they came back to this.
Yes.
But yes, you do have, same standard set, does have the marking of Cthulhu on there. On all of it. I'm not going to flip these all over to the Cthulhu branding, but at least to the big one so you guys can actually see what it would actually look like on all of them. But they are super nice. They got that nice marbleization.
Mm-hmm. And again, they're not... I'll be honest, their color choices are not the most exciting sets, but at the same time, they work.
But like I was saying, the original set was red. Which threw a lot of people off, especially Cthulhu fans. They're like, red, why? It makes no sense. But now we have a green set. Problem solved. Yay. Perfect. High five. Super, super nice. I really can't complain at that point. Personally, I like to collect green dice myself personally for obvious reasons. Yeah. But at the same time, it's all now I'm glad that I have an infinite black set that is now green that is associated with Cthulhu. Cthulhu. This is the sign of HASTUR. Very, very different from the yellow sign that we all know and love. Which I believe is actually trademarked by Chaosium.
Oh, interesting. Oh, they threw in a
rubber band. Nice. See you later, rubber band. That was probably the honest thing I've ever received at random. Did like this recoloring, even though is because from the second one, the second Kickstarter, they actually did the yellow sign with the yellow and black, which was the smart thing to do for HASTUR, because it's the king in yellow. So I was actually very happy with that. But now that we're into a new Kickstarter, another color option is more predominant.
I like that yellow. I'm not generally a big fan of yellow sets, but I like that yellow and black.
I'm not a yellow fan by any degree, really. I'm okay with this color set, mostly because green and purple are actually two of my favorite colors.
Gut reaction, not a judgment.
Yeah. And I was actually very happy with this color, is just because I like the colors in
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
and it is a very solid color mixture. And I like the marbleization between the purple and the green.
That is nice.
And then, of course, you still maintain the yellow sign, is because the sign is in gold. So, yeah, absolutely.
That's actually the one I wanted to look at.
So, next up on our list is actually the Elder Dice, which this is the last of the 6 that were recolored. So, these ones I really, really enjoyed. Is mostly because they are purple. I really, really like the purple. The original ones were a blue, I believe. I'll actually pull those out here. 1 second.
It's this one features the Elder sign, as described by August Derleth in The Lurker at the Threshold. It's a symbol that's more commonly known. The Chaosium version is more commonly known. Which is
different too.
Doesn't have such a curvy star. That Chaosium version is trademarked, so it can't be used, but everybody's allowed to make their own interpretation of the actual August Derleth description, which is what they did. It's a curvy star.
A 5-pointed curvy star with an eye in the center.
With an eye and a flame.
And the originals were blue, so this is where it gets a little confusing. I just realized this after opening it. The new set is purple from the 3rd Kickstarter with a blue labeled marker on the top of the card.
Oh, that's interesting.
The original one, blue dice with a purple marker on the card for the original lettering. So, if anybody's trying to screw with you, we told you first.
The blue goes with the purple, and the purple
goes with blue. This is
Alrighty then.
Little things we nitpick on, not so much against the creators, but just for those gougers out there that are trying to sell you the wrong thing, because we are the collectors.
Yeah, we want it right.
Yeah.
Especially Mike, packaging and everything.
I am nitpicky. Very nitpicky.
And see how nitpicky? He's got to put his own dice away.
You with your virus, put your mask down. No, she won't. So, that was the last of the
Fogging my glasses again.
We're Knights of the Round Table. Our jokes are poor. One of the new ones from the new Kickstarter is the Star of Azathoth. This is also kind of like a reimagining of the original Azathoth.
Yeah, there is no real Azathoth insignia.
Yeah, there really isn't.
So they developed their own.
Correct.
And I like that design too. It's a very cool symbol.
I do actually like it as well. So it's an actual star, not the actual sigil of Azathoth.
Gotcha.
So, of course, once again, you have another lore card with the box. These ones are kind of like a soapy purple. Try not to screw up my bag here. But, yeah, very, very nice.
It's lighter purple. Is there some glitter in there?
Don't...
It's got some shine to it, but I don't think it's glitter.
It's not glitter. It's almost... It almost looks like a brushed silver, very, very fine glitter, maybe?
Yeah, it might be. It's not that, like holo shifty glitter. But,
no. Actually, it might have
be a
glitter.
fine glitter powder.
A very fine glitter powder. Yeah. It's actually really nice.
There's definitely a sparkle to it.
Yeah. So I'd like to see if you guys can see the glitter without the shimmer of the light here. But yeah,
so much stuff about dice is hard to show. Show on camera.
But yeah, the more that I look at it, it's actually got a little bit of more depth to the actual die themselves. I actually like them, not only because they're purple, but nice and consistent contrast between the colors. There is hollow glitter, maybe fine glitter, but at the same time we're not entirely sure. But they are nice. I do like them. They do have a nice depth to it, and it breaks up from the traditional style that they were doing with that marbleization, which is a good thing. And you got different shades of purple in there. From a light to a dark. Yeah. One is the seal of YOG-SOTHOTH, which I actually really like this sigil. And the last one was, that was Azathoth. Yeah. Okay. And then, new card to add to their style of mythos and lore, which, hats off, great idea. These are interesting. I wasn't quite sure how much I would like them.
Again, it's got that glittery effect that the last set had, but it's this is a 2-color mix.
Actually, I think it might actually be more.
There's a red and a blue.
It's a reddish purple mixed in with a greenish teal.
Yeah.
Very color out of space kind of a thing. Or color from space, or no, out of space.
Yeah. Brain fart.
Which I like. I do like it. Is it a little bit muddled? Kind of. The mixture isn't like exactly what I would like, but it's unique enough to where I can enjoy the set. Like I said, it's unique. I like it to a certain extent.
Yeah, I'll be honest. This particular set, I would really like some of the pieces. I like this piece here.
Yeah,
it's nice. Some of them are a little deeper in color, a little more muddled, but still look kind of good. Although I think the fineness of the tentacles gets lost a little bit in the darkness of the faces on those.
It can, especially with like an off inking, it can be a little bit muddled. But
yeah,
overall,
I haven't
no
seen
real
a disappointing set yet.
Yeah,
I mean, they all have some appeal.
It's unique on its own. It's one of those things where I might spend a little extra to get another set and kind of mix and match, maybe.
Sure.
Depending on availability, is because I do know some of the availability on some of these is actually very hard to come by. And then the next one is the Eye of Chaos, which is very, very nice. It was an interesting color choice. It was actually kind of reminiscent of another one that they did, which is going to have like the light blue kind of a thing, but without the extra mixture of, I believe, the mauve kind of colorization. And this one didn't. This one came directly in the bag instead of the sealed bag, which is fine. Actually, that's actually really nice. I do like the way those came out in the print. I was very happy with that.
I like this set. This reminds me of the old Chessex and Koplow marbleized. Except again, this seems to have maybe a fine glitter powder in it.
I'm actually willing to say that this does have a fine glitter to it. Is because they're upping their game from the traditional marbleization and adding a glitter to it, which is nice to see from a distinguishing point on what they're doing with them. So I'm actually very happy with that set. I do like the deepness of the blue, the light blue to almost aqua blue kind of color.
And we haven't pointed out that all of these are 9 dice sets. They give 3d6s instead of just the one.
Which I do like. I
always like extra dice.
Always like extra dice. Plus, also they do sell extra tubes dice. So if you need extra,
you can
D6s,
buy D10 tubes or D6 tubes.
Extra D20s if you need them.
Yeah.
From the Kickstarter, I will say that they did include an extra D20 for a couple of the different sets, but we'll get to that in 1 second. That was a great segue, is because here are the extra tubes of all the D6s, so like I said, I got pretty much everything. So yeah, you come with a full sleeve of D6s. So if you
D6s.
If you wanted to use the D6s for a different game, you do have that option.
And each one, it has the sigil and the name of each set on the label right there.
Which is really, really nice. So even if you've got certain dice that you didn't like from the D6 side into each one of those, you can get extra ones. This is the Kickstarter exclusive, which grabbed everything. So we have the limited edition, Kickstarter exclusive Cthulhu set, otherwise referred to as the Doom Edition. Also pull out the card here for you guys, which does have the black face and everything like that.
Beautiful card. It's a little different than the rest of them.
That, and they also did a full black and red scale image on the box itself, which I thought was actually a really nice touch. Does come with an extra D20. This was a part of like the Kickstarter and stuff like that from some of your backing rewards and things like that. But it does still have like your traditional branding of Cthulhu on the D6s, or well, all of them. But it's black and red.
And I love black and red. I like the simple colors sometimes. Black with white ink is actually one of my largest collections. I have a bunch of black with red as well. The Diablo set is one of my favorites. This is comparable to that. It's very nice.
Yeah,
Diablo set has
it's actually a nice polish to it as well, which I actually do really like. Because it's actually got a nice sheen to it. It doesn't have that shine. Kind of almost roughed, not as overly, but it is very
has a nice shine to it.
Very cleanly made. Like, it does have a nice gloss to it, and the red is nice and vibrant, so you get that nice contrast as well. Also, from like day one backers, it also did include like an extra D20 green D20 for your
the green set.
For the new green set,
and the again Kickstarter exclusive Doom edition.
Doom token as well.
Like no, it's the what is it? The Astral Elder Sign Doom edition.
And which is Kickstarter. Anytime they do their Kickstarter exclusive, it's always the Doom edition. Which I'm glad that they keep it consistent, so you have that branding with it as well, which is nice. Once again, you guys are doing a killer job. Like, I love it.
The Doom song now.
Doomy doom doom doomy doom 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 doom.
3 years later.
Yeah, right. On that note, with the coins, I did, however, because I collect all the coins from the previous Kickstarter when they did it, because I'm a huge fan of it. I did get all of the coins for each of the sigils. So I'll actually slide those up there so you guys can see it. I also missed a couple more tubes of the D6s that they went with it. But then I also got the new editions of the symbols that were in the antiqued kind of bronze coloring. So now I have the full black set as well as this variant as well. Oh, another D20 that I received. Perfect. So now I have 3. Beautiful. I might do something special with that out of good faith. But yeah, no, I actually really like these. I really wanted the black ones. I didn't, because they're the Doom edition.
Nice.
They're the Doom edition, which is, I don't know if they're gonna be.
Oh, these are
Kickstarter.
all the Doom editions.
All the Doom editions except for these ones, which I have. The other, what is it, 7? If you can get them, get them. If not, you're gonna be waiting a while on eBay hunting these down specifically. Also, at the same time, too, is I also have all the pins that they released as well. I added the 3 new ones to match with the white fillings for the pins.
And these are the new designs.
These are the new designs.
The new sigils that they hadn't previously produced.
Correct. These are the 3 new ones. So you have the Star of Azathoth, and then you have the
which technically
DREAMLANDS,
was actually
or
what
Chaos.
Which technically was actually what this Kickstarter was for. Was for those 3 sets of dice, and everything else here was some sort of stretch goal or add-on. It was initially the 3 sets of dice based on these 3 symbols.
It seemed like almost every week I would get a notification. It was like, "Hey, we've added a new goal or a new
several times
package," and I'm just like, "Oh my god!"
Several times a week.
But also, they did have a limit, like a Kickstarter exclusive box.
Alternate slipcases.
Alternate slipcase, yes. Which, hence the reason why this is black. You just pull that out, and then you'd slide in your new set, the new Trinity.
It's very cool design. It incorporates the some of the features of the Necronomicon sigil, and then they have all of their sigils on the top. It's very cool.
Yeah. And then, that's not only the only one, either. They also have the new Doom edition slipcase for this backing, which is cool. You keep your traditional black and red and all that stuff.
It's similar to the slipcases from the previous Kickstarter, but different.
And then you also have the Egyptian, like, cartographer kind of a thing on this one with Nyarlathotep. That's actually who that is. And then you have Cthulhu, and then once again Nyarlathotep on the other side.
I like that they're consistent with the symbology all across the top of it.
Which is very, very cool. Yeah.
Here.
And then here.
It's all the same symbols.
Which, just to point out as well, this was from the second Kickstarter. I'll give that a little bit closer in comparison to the new one. This one being the new one, this one being from the second one. Unfortunately, I didn't get in on the first one, so I don't have a first one to show you.
If anybody out there has one you'd like to part with at a reasonable price, just, drop
let us know. I'll be more than happy to take it off your hands. We've got the playmats, the premium playmats.
Oh my goodness, how many of these are there?
There's several. I got the ones that were new to the Kickstarter.
They reissued some of the ones that were already out?
Correct.
Okay.
These ones, so I got the actual Egyptian cartographer, the Necronomicon, YOG-SOTHOTH, AZATHOTH, and then the Kickstarter exclusive black mat.
Are we gonna open them or just show them?
We'll open them.
Okay.
Against my better judgment and will, you're welcome.
These all look pretty cool.
They are very nice. Oh, that was one thing that I did also want to add in as well. The previous Kickstarters did not have this bound edging. This was not a thing. It was just like your traditional mouse pad where it didn't have the stitching border around the edge.
Right.
This is new to the new Kickstarter.
It's a little more premium.
Very premium. It even says it on the box.
Premium stitch
playmats, yes. So you will be able to.
This design.
I do too.
I'm always a fan of the ancient Egyptian style.
Oh, absolutely. And this one, the black and red, is Kickstarter exclusive. Expect to see this on eBay for a premium.
I'm curious though, where are the lizard people? We all know they are behind the scenes ruling all of it. They're not here. Where are the lizard people?
The lizard people are still in the Nameless City. Little inside joke for those of you who actually read the stories. But this is the colored version.
Passage of the Traveler.
Yes. So
that's really nice too.
I believe this was also a Kickstarter exclusive. I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure it is also
they
a
did
Kickstarter exclusive.
Nicely did the papyrus style effect on there.
They took very good care
of it. And the
this.
detail comes out much better on this version than on this version.
Yeah.
I see some what is that? It almost looks like a badger person. Badger mushroom.
And then we have the Mark of the Necronomicon, which I'm a huge Necronomicon guy. I love the whole mythos and story sitting behind the Necronomicon.
Runes and sigils out here. I have some familiarity with that type of stuff, and I think these are made up. I'm not 100% sure, but they're very well done because even if they are made up, they look like they could be legit.
They could be like legit style Sumerian, Goetal or Goetia.
They could be all kinds
of different.
But there are some things that I can almost guarantee they're not.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have the Sigil of YOG-SOTHOTH, which I really liked, just not only because of the Lovecraftian skull, because it's also fairly similar to the Necronomicon. I love skulls. I'm a dark kind of individual.
These are very nice.
They are very nice, very well made. I love the fact that they have the stitch embroidery around the entire sides. Yeah. That is a big thing for me, is because when you use a mat time and time again, it starts peeling off, and you're just all like, oh, great, my favorite mat is like completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And then the last mat that I got,
this one looks cool.
This one will be the AZATHOTH Star of AZATHOTH.
The Astral Elder Sign.
Yeah, which I love. Like, mostly because it's purple. Purple and gold.
And it's nice. Again,
nice.
Their interpretation of the Elder Sign is very cool. What I was saying earlier when we were looking at the dice, you can really see it right here, the flames coming out of the eye in the center.
Yeah, and that's the thing with larger things, you can add a little bit more detail, you'll pick up on the miscellaneous little tiny stuff, and very, very well made.
And I love the cracked effect all over the place.
It's antique.
Like it had been an engraving that's aged or something.
Solid stonework kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to debate on whether or not I actually take this out of the bag or not. Just out of this, I'll have an issue with. Is the actual dice tray.
Oh, that's beautiful.
This is actually really nice. I might hunt down. There was two versions of these, and I only got the black and red one to match the rest of my Kickstarter exclusive Doom editions. There is a gold and black, or black and gold, whatever, flip-flop stylization for this mat as well. That is probably about the only thing that I didn't get, is because I only wanted one, and I already was spent a fair amount of money, and I really didn't. I see that justification.
I'm not generally a fan of these leather dice trays. I want that.
Yeah. The final thing in the box, it's so much stuff, is the lore GM screen. The full GM screen will actually look like this. It looks like a library of books with a skull. Light. There you go. That's the full fold out to it. You know what? I got you guys. I got you.
And it's a fold-out screen for 5e. So
yeah, so it's going to
have 5e rules, or if you play a Cthulhu game rooted in 5th edition.
And this
I don't know
was
if there are any official ones out there.
Official?
Well, like games that actually Cthulhu games that actually use the 5e rules.
Right. And it actually comes with a madness table and everything else for the game coming in 2020. Start Your Journey, Tree of Sorrows. So that is actually a thing.
They're releasing their own game.
Yes, they are releasing their own.
Good for
so, and then it also comes with everything that they've already worked with their madness tables and stuff like that. We'll dive a little bit deeper in that. I'm sure we'll play with it. I'm sure we'll get it.
Want to open it? I'll let you do it.
That's just fair. But yes, you have your full thing, which does have more printing on the inside of here, as a normal screen would have.
I'm very curious what type of information they'll have on there, because to be honest, with 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, I have several of those DM screens, and it's a bunch of useless information, because with 5th edition, there's not much consultation you have to do in the DM's guide and whatnot. It's not like it was in 1st and 2nd edition.
And one thing that I noticed in here in the books as well is you actually have the symbols incorporated into the book. So that would be the Necronomicon. Then you would have the Eye of Chaos, the yellow sign, things like that. Like,
it's very cool.
The attention to detail, I'm a fan. That is actually very, very nice to see.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank thinking of their actual names, but the one guy that's the artist, he does done consistently excellent job.
It is very consistent, and I'm a big fan. Being an artist myself, like, he does a good job.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like to meet you someday. Talk shop, all that fun stuff. But for the most part, that was the entire box. That was a lot more than I remembered.
So that was the Elder Dice Color Out of Space Kickstarter from Infinite Black, with most of the first two Kickstarters thrown in there also.
It's kind of like bonus to kind of give you guys an orientation with the whole Kickstarter.
Most of that stuff's available at infiniteblack.net. Those guys also have a Facebook page and a Facebook group.
Yeah, so we'll put the links down below for you guys to check those out. So.
We are strangeaeongames.com as well as 20facesofFate.com.
Because we dive deep into the nerd culture of Call of Cthulhu or Cthulhu mythos, as well as Dungeons and Dragons, things like that. If you guys want us to review anything, shoot us a text or, well, shoot us a message, send us an email, anything like that. If you have any questions, put it down in the comments below. We're usually relatively quick on that. But for the most part, we'll catch you next time. Take it easy. If you would like to check out more from Strange Aeon Games, you can go to our website at strangeaeongames.com. Sign up and receive notices on new posts and new projects, as well as information about tabletop knowledge. You can also browse our store for accessories and apparel, which some are exclusive only to our store.